boy, her youngest, just got married last year.
See, I'm getting it.
Okay, everybody,
everyone attention. We're going to ask you to go ahead and, if you would, I'm going to ask Missy if she would escort Mr. Kemp up to the front for just about 30 seconds. But we're going to let him be the king for a couple of hours. King Kemp. King Kemp. We're going to pray. We're going to ask the blessings upon the food and everything. And we don't have any kind of program outlined or anything like that, but we are just going to wing it as we go. But one thing that we would really like to do, since they are recording this, is we would like everyone, beginning with the youngest first, come up and give your name and the year that you served under this great man and the instrument that you played. And if you can think of a memorable moment that you might have had that really impacted your life for the negative or positive, you can share that at that time also. So we're going to give you about a minute and a half to do that. Okay. But let us just pray right now, and we want to ask God's blessing over the food. Father, we just thank you now for loving your kindness. We thank you for these, your people that have been everywhere. We've just been dispersed, but you brought us back here, and just listening to some of the testimonies and what we've gone through, it just proves that you are awesome God. And we just love you and we appreciate you tonight. We thank you for those hands and minds that orchestrated this whole reunion here. And we are praying and we are asking you now to bless the food and every hand that prepared it. We are praying right now, God, that you would just help us not to become so busy in our day that we don't have time to just reach out and touch and contact each other. And we're just asking you now, for those that travel, as they prepare to maybe travel back, whatever mode of transportation, whether it's plane, train, cars, whatever it is, we're just praying safe travel, a safe passage, a safe return. And we are asking you to bless, asking you to strengthen our band leader. He'll always be our band leader. Mr. Kemp, his family, his companion, his children, everything that concerns him, we are asking you right now in the name of Jesus. And we just thank you for this fellowship. We thank you for this gathering. Thank you for the church that's opened its doors and allowed us to come and do this. And we just pray a blessing over them right now in Jesus' name. So bless the food as we partake it. Keep us safe. We give you praise and honor for it now. In Jesus' name, everybody say amen.
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 They bend down.
I'm Harris.
You come down. Fun. It's gonna be fun.
Okay, right. You need to do a fun one. Okay, let's do a fun one. Okay, ready? Do something fun. Hello. I'm gonna do your Okay. All right, now you get to go first. What do you like?
I'll bring the buzz too. Yes, I'll take it. Thank you.
Let's go to
I'm done.
I think the last time we did, like, I got married and he was at my wedding. I got him to sing with my best friend, my baby boy.
Smile.
Yeah.
Hey, I wonder if you could tell me a little bit of history of when you came to Ashford and what you did. And,
from Americus, Georgia.
okay,
And that was in 76.
76.
And I inherited all you babies.
That's right. You inherited all of it. All of us mess up, so we mess up. And you showed us.
Please stop.
And things got better and better and better and better. And they were some of the very best years of my life.
That's right. Best years of
Had
Ashford.
the best parents.
That's right.
She was one of our flag ladies
I'll
right
tell you
here.
what.
Right here.
That's right.
One of the first.
One of the first. You go way back, don't you?
Oh, yes.
Tell
I
me your
learned a
name.
lot from this man.
Tell
A
him your
lot.
name.
Gail Kane.
Dale Kane.
And what he taught me was to practice, and if you practice at anything, you will get it right.
Practice makes perfect.
Practice makes perfect.
And let me ask you another question. When they was celebrating the 1974 group that went up to with Coach Strait, did you make that trip?
No, I didn't make
Back
that
with
trip.
Mr. Meeks.
I didn't make that one.
I made the trip.
You made that trip?
Yeah, that was like in the beginners band or something. That was way on back. I made that trip.
Everybody to introduce yourself, because as I look over the building, I see we don't have but 2 white people in here.
Yeah.
We're not racist. We are not racist, but I just noticed that we have 2 white people.
Is that all?
That's right.
Timmy identifies as white.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we need to know who you are, because some of you may be wanted serial killers.
That's right.
And we need you to identify yourself.
Yeah.
So if we have anyone from the class of 1989.
Right here.
stand and introduce yourself.
All right, I'm Hannah. Wait, stop, Tana, for a second. I can start over. Hold on. Okay.
My name is Tana Culver, maiden name. I was in the marching band for several years. Let's see, I play clarinet. My brother was also in, but he's not here tonight. But anyway, he played trumpet, and we just had a good time. I mean, we got lots of great memories. A lot of my, some of my skills that I use today was because of Michael. I mean, he was hard on us, but he loved us, you know. And I appreciate those life skills that he taught us. He was hard on us, but you know what? It paid off in the long run because we were the #1 band around for years. So I have a lot of admiration and love for him. Everybody was talking about how tough it was. I said, you know what? You got to be tough. You know, when you got a bunch of kids.
Tough makes tough.
But I appreciate all the love and memories. I'll take them till I'm gone. I love you.
Would you share a memory with us? Your most memorable.
My most memorable. I remember we were at practice one time. We was out on the field and it was really hot that day, and we were practicing staying in line. And if you got out of line, you were gonna get a lick. And we got several that day. I got one that day too. But, I remember we were at summer band camp and it was August and it was smoking hot. You could look out across that field out there and you could just see the heat wave. And
You can see the haze.
I passed out that day. Anyhow, they got me back in the band room, got me some cool air and some water, and I come to. But there's several memories. I remember the night he got mad with us, and he marched us back out of the stadium all the way back to the band room that night. You know, but you look back on them, and those are precious memories. You know, he was tough, but hey, you got to be tough. It's tough love. And that was a lot of skill learning right there too, you know, because in life, you know, you're going to come across all kind of folks. But if you use those skills that you were taught, you can get through life. You know, when it gets tough, you just got to keep going. Keep going. And be cordial to people, you know. Because you never know what somebody's walking through or what they've been through. So treat each other with respect and love. But those were my best years ever in school. I hated school, but I loved the band.
Yeah.
89.
He's the baby.
That's the baby.
Yeah, that's the baby right there. That's Chad.
91. Oh, we were just going from 1960.
91.
But we'll take you. No, come on. 1991. Introduce yourself, man.
My name's Chad Bell. I played saxophone in the band. Since then, I played everything. You know, I can't think of anything I haven't played. I've been a band director actually, and inspired by Mr. Malcolm Kemp, and so the things that I learned from him actually through my job at the Alabama School for the Blind for 19 years, we were able to create the first ever blind Alabama School for the Blind marching band. Wow. So very first, up until my time there, they would ride band wagons and parades, and so. But we have so that's something you can hang on to too, because those things you taught me, I shared with them, and they went with it. It's great. A memory. You know, sometimes you got to get people's attention, and Mr. Kemp got our attention a lot of times, but you know, I was really amazed by things that would fly through the room. Sometimes chairs, sometimes people. No, not really. But one time, I remember he threw his hands up and he had his baton in his hand. Well, he must have let go because it stuck in the ceiling and was there for a while. So that was my memory. Thank you, Mr. Kemp.
Thank you.
MC 91. Which way we going? Down, right?
You're going the wrong way.
90.
Going back the other opposite.
91, 90, 89,
89.
88,
88.
89.
89.
89.
Well, I'm Michael. Had a lot of good memories. Met a lot of good friends.
This is the son, ain't it?
Right.
Yeah, it is.
Where you been, man?
Had a lot of private meetings. A lot of one-on-one time. So, you know, we had to discuss things about band and personal life, all sorts of other facets, but had a really good time since I moved here and live here and go to school all my years. Went there first grade, came back my 10th grade, and I was glad I did. But a lot of memories, a lot of good friends, had a good time. Glad I got to know a lot of y'all.
Yeah. Yeah, I asked about you last night. Glad to see you. You don't remember me?
I know the name.
Uh-huh.
Trying to remember you.
Yeah, 81. You was just a little knee knocker. Yes, we did. Did you go to the first, no, I don't know if you went to the first, our first performance. We were actually marched in the Mardi Gras parade. The first one, we made that trip to New Orleans. Yeah.
Did we make two, or did we make?
Yeah, I think we might have made two after that, but we were the ones that started it.
Finished it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Somebody fell on the bed.
That was all the days. Yeah, buddy. Yeah.
A lot of good times.
Yeah, boy.
A lot of things.
That 15-hour bus ride. Ooh. Yeah, it was cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was. Okay. Let me see. What we at? 90, 89, 88. 88. Anybody in 88?
88.
Class of 88.
88.
87.
87.
86.
Here we go.
86. That's some
86.
right there.
Introduce yourself. Tell us where you're from.
So, Daryl Glass, I played trumpet, mellophone, French horn, whatever else he wanted me to play, I guess. Yeah, it was those were good times. Really, the only reason I graduated high school was because of band. You know, we had my mother would call him and have him take me in his office and have some talks about my grades, and so he scared the bejesus out of me. So I would continue to pass anyway. But a lot of good times, a lot of good memories. You know, the things that I learned from Malcolm was you know, it was the little things. You know, he would preach that. You know. If you take care of the little things, the big things seem to have a way of working themselves out. You know, pay attention to detail, the discipline that I even use today. So you know, I got so many memories. We were sitting here talking about some things earlier, and you know, one of the things was not with Mr. Kemp, but with the whole band. You know, what we had, you know, was we can't replicate that. You know, there'll never be another Ashford band like that. You know,
Amen.
I don't think there was one before, and you know, there's no way you could get that again. It was because we loved each other. You know, we love what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? And so whenever we come together, we were very prideful about, you know, giving our best, and you know, and the ones that wouldn't give their best, you know, we kind of took care of that.
Yes, we did.
You know, Jimmy, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, we took care of that, you know, later on. But that's right. But you know, and we would, and the ones that wasn't as strong, you know, we'd just kind of pull them along, and those were some good times, and you know, I've been blessed to be part of some other great groups, but this is, you know, this was one of the ones that set the foundation for my life and lifestyle. So I'm very, very, very appreciative of not only Mr. Kemp, but all of you in here. It's good to see all of you. Boy, y'all got old, you know.
Yeah.
You know, Chad, I didn't even recognize you till you stood up and said, I'm Chad Bell. I'm like, dang. So, but anyway, so a memory. So I kind of went down the rabbit trail, didn't I? I'm known for that. I was telling, I'm going to tell the one about, so, you know, y'all remember you play from your gut.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not here, right? Because, you know, that's like a boxer. You know, if a boxer hits you, you got to push right here, you know. Y'all remember this? You know, we're in church and everything, and I love Jesus, and I stay, you know, I go to this church and I play music, but I'm going to say something. You know, he drew this butthole on the board. Y'all remember that? It was like a circle with a bunch of spokes. He called it a wheel, but we were back there laughing. You know, it looked.
Yeah.
And that was the Amisher, right? That's, you know, y'all remember this lesson. So
Yeah.
that's one memory. You know, I remember the one you threw the baton and it stuck in the ceiling. You know, I remember also as we, like I said, you know, you play from your diaphragm, from right here, you know, your gut. And so we all lined up. Y'all remember that time he lined us all up with our heads up against the wall? And we were playing some kind of, I think it was, you know, His Honor or something, and he run around on our stomach. Boy, you know, you go to jail for something like that, man. You can't do that. But hey, you know, I've heard some of you guys playing, you know, and I appreciate that. You know, some of you guys posting some stuff on Facebook, because I've looked, you know, before in the past, because you can't really describe the sound that, you know, we got out of how many players? 70 at the most. There was at the most I think we ever had was 70 wind players. And you just, you know, when you hear that sound and you look out there and there's just this little group of kids, you know, it wowed everybody. And again, you know, I love y'all, and I just appreciate everything. Thank you, Mr. Kemp.
Thank you.
All right. Come back around. I'll talk to you some more.
86, 85, 84,
1984.
1984, Captain G.
Yeah, it's been awesome. What a ride. One of the first early memories, Mr. Kemp, is him taking me off the Trailways bus and throwing me in the back of UD's truck with the drums as he driving down the road and I'm crying in the back.
I was crying in the van.
What a wonderful experience. Daryl did it, man. What a magic in the glass we had. It's just unbelievable. And to this day, I had the opportunity of being a band dad and everything, and seeing things with my kids. You know, we used to marvel. I remember going to competitions. We'd see these huge bands, you know, so we just, oh my God, the chill, everything. My kids got a chance to be in that, you know, and I was so excited. I'm out there listening. I'm like, got like 30 trumpets. I don't hear nothing. You know, it's like, what? What's going on? So I stick my head in the band, you know, I'm listening and everything like that. There ain't nothing going on in there, man. There's a sign on the door that says, hey, we recommend you get music lessons. Ain't nobody teaching the kids how to play the horns anymore. They utilize the middle school band directors, bring them up, you know, hopefully they put them through this routine, you know, and it's really disappointing. But the cool thing is, my kids, we had Grandpa Kemp, so he'd come down and we'd talk about, especially my daughter, the trumpet player. Ooh, man, she's first chair all the way through. My oldest, Mia, Malcolm, just what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Just don't believe it. Every time she got up, everybody go, where did that sound come from? I said, it's easy, we can tell you. And then just Libby, bless her heart, she was still embarrassed. But it was just disheartening, that it was something that was so powerful that could have made a big difference. And so what's really cool is Mr. Kemp's the gift that keeps on giving to me. I got to hear those kids. I tried to live through my daughter a little bit growing up, but I had to pull back from that. But what a beautiful thing for my kids to play like they do because of him.
Yeah.
And I got to enjoy that. So, one of the, what you may not know, I had a little problem in the 7th grade. Anyway.
Which time? Which time, 7th grade?
82, 83, or 84?
Well, I have my own parking spot there over at the elementary school. But anyway, here's my story. My 3rd year in the 7th grade, Mr. Kemp, he said, Jimmy, come out here to the car and we'll show you something. I said, yes, sir. He's out there, he says, there's a seat. Unzips this bag, pulls this gun out. He says, you see this? I said, yes, sir. He said, if you fail that 7th grade one more time, we'll see if you can outrun this bullet. You are too smart and talented to be pulling that. I said, yes, sir. So, I didn't fail again. I guess I don't know if it was because they felt pity on me, but no, I think I actually did better that year. So anyway, after that, took off and then was able to graduate in '84. But the funny thing was at the 1984 graduation banquet. So, hey, any seniors want to get up and talk? The superintendent there and everything. I've got a story. One time I walked out, Mr. Kemp said, let me show you something in my car. And I tell the story that he was laughing at it. And I look over there at Mr. Kemp and there's a superintendent of schools.
Past a few years statute of limitations, you can do anything about it.
Well, one thing I'll say this. I didn't have a dad growing up. And the foundation that I went through, because of this man. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get first round.
Yep. Okay. You ready for me? Any other 3-time repeaters of the 7th grade?
Third was a charm.
Okay. I think after Jimmy, they decided they wasn't going to do it anymore 2 times. And then he was gone. They just push you right over. Let me see, what was that, 84? 83. 83?
Solid? First.
83. Jeff had some pretty hair back then.
He did.
I just matured. My name's Jeff Solly. I played trumpet in '83. And I think Jimmy kind of hit on it. Malcolm was to all of us in a lot of respects, a parent. And I know, like Jimmy, that meant a lot to me as well.
Yeah.
Some of the stories that I have, I can't share because of where we are. I don't think the church people would appreciate that going through, but we were able to really get away with a lot of stuff that we later told him about after, it had expired and kind of left his memory a little bit. But that was our goal, I think, was to see what we could get by with. And because everything was so structured and and strict, and we really needed it. So, like on the trips and stuff, for instance, there would be false bottoms to lots of ice chests that would carry beverages on our trips, and we were able to enjoy and have a good time without anyone really knowing.
Fake bottom, right?
Thanks to Bill Barnes. But yeah, it was just a wonderful experience. We just had a great time. It was such a learning time for me. And one of the memories I have was, I think in my 11th, 10th grade, I was 15 or whatever, and I wasn't old enough to drive. Certainly wasn't old enough to drive a bus, but I had a teacher's aide within like 5th period or something of the day, or 4th period. I didn't have a way to get over there, so I would steal a bus every day and drive it over there, and then drive it back and park it like it hadn't gone anywhere. You can't do that anymore, but kids used to drive buses back in the day. Kids, it's all kind of changed, but we just had a great time. It was a good family, and I think a lot of what the later years kind of inherited were the foundation that we inherited, being in the first beginning band group that he had when he got there. We were the ones who really, from day one, this is all we knew was Malcolm. And Richard Kaysen, I think he would probably want to forget some of it because like baton throwing and stuff in the ceiling, Richard caught one upside the head. There was a lot of explaining that had to go on about that. But he created a foundation that we wanted to carry forward and to pass on to the other band members when they joined and when they came in. It wasn't something that we wanted to let go of. If we had to suffer and endure and overcome, the ones that were coming in behind us had to suffer, endure, and overcome. And that just passed on through the years that we were there. We didn't cut any slack for anybody. If you didn't hold up your spot, there was something said to you. If you were marching out of time, we were there to correct that misbehavior. And we got that from him, and a lot of that has carried on with me through my own life. With my daughter was in the band too after Malcolm had left. Going through, and it was just so different. You know, there was no structure. There wasn't that unity that was there that we had. And like you guys said earlier, Daryl, I don't think we're ever going to be able to replicate that again. And I'm kind of glad because it puts us in a class of our own. And we're able to look back and know that we were part of something during that time that was just extraordinary. And that's not an exaggeration because there are multiple generations of that had got to experience it. And fortunately, when he moved on up to Ozark and all, those kids got to experience that too. So this group is just a small microcosm of the influence that Malcolm has had. But we're very thankful for you and what you were able to do through us. I'm very appreciative, and we're glad to be
83 food there.
Class of 83. I wish that was my biggest regret, was not graduating. The reason Terry's gonna be okay. They will take care of each other. She knows what to do. I started in the very beginning of the beginner band and with clarinet. And he was mean. You know, you're at that age that, you know, that you're flipping his eyes, stuff like that. He'd say something, and I'd like, you know, okay. But it was the consistency that he believed in. You know, he believed in me, but then what was the bad thing was is that I was the baby of 5, and I had so many siblings go through, and here I am, and he's like, oh God, here comes another rapper. You know? So, but let me tell you, he showed us so much, not just how to march and all, but it was about life. And one of the things that he did teach me about was about the word assume. And don't assume, just don't assume nothing. And finally, you know, he wrote it on the board and he said, because assume. If I've told you something, don't assume anything else. And he said, you know why? And it was like, why? Because you make an ass of me and you. Oh. So we will. We didn't want to say nothing, and that really ingrained into me as well. I want to tell you, my brother Kevin was in the band, and he was above me. And he started out with a little, one drums, and then he had 2 drums, and then he was head drummer. And we would gone to New Orleans, and me and him would sit in the back of the bus at times, and back then Grease was popular, and I was Sandy, and he was John Volta, and we would sing that whole Grease record. And it's those certain memories, the fun times that, that I cherish even today. And it has moved on to my children now. I was like, go to the band, it's so fun, you learn so much. And sure enough, I had one daughter that has graduated from Auburn, but she played the trombone, and my twin son played trumpet, going to competitions and stuff like that. But it's about the love that you get, the trust that you get, and it's all because you're taught it from your leader. Your leader is the main one, and then there's the times you don't want that leader. But it all started from me, because it was him, and I made the decision to go into the band, and he became such a leader. And even from the littlest kids. So, we appreciate you so much. You taught us more than anything else that any other teacher could not have taught us. You taught us to behave, try to, and we love you. That's why you're here tonight. That's it.
Graduated in 1983. I had a great father, and he was the second grade. He demanded discipline, respect. He demanded your best. When we went to band contest, it was doing it right. And he taught us, he instructed us, he required us, he whipped us, he threw batons at us, he pulled us out from under the risers, sleeping during band practice, because we couldn't, drummers, they were practicing and doing their stuff, and the percussion, we were asleep under the bleachers, Jason, right? We were the black sheep, we were the, Mongolians, I think was one of the words that he used. But I'll tell you, the licks I got, the talking tos I got, I would take anything. Thank you. You missed something. Okay? Love you with all my heart. One of my favorite stories is on Friday night. Several of us remember during the halftime show, like last night at Ashford High School. We're marching doing the halftime show. And of course we're watching Robin lead us, but we can see Mr. Kemp with that megaphone thing, whatever that. He comes down and he's running
down through the, I mean, running down and running out on, and stops the halftime. Embarrassed the crap out of you. Hear me? I mean, we stopped, and he was telling us, because I think we were going to band contest. Hey, we didn't do something right. I don't know, but I'll tell you one thing. After we started back, we got it right. Okay, we got it right. But Mr. Kemp, love you so. Appreciate it.
But I want to hear the other Friday night story.
Which one?
When Mom and Daddy was out of town and.
Oh boy! I've got the picture on my phone. I had to do this for Jeff and David. Todd, we don't know where Todd is, but yeah. After, was it band contest, Jeff?
It was a little big one. We just got back.
Okay, we decided to go to Dothan, Alabama, and I wanted to get something to drink. Okay. And I'm not talking about Kool-Aid or Coca-Cola. So David, we all piled up. It was me, Solly, Straub, and Silas.
Hey, the drinking age then was a lot lower too, I think.
It was.
Wasn't Jimmy buying for everybody?
Yeah, Jimmy, yeah. In the ninth grade. Yeah, he's legal in the ninth grade. But anyway, so we decided to go to town. We go to the B-line on Westgate Parkway, across from the Tropical Smoothie Conestoga right there. And we pulled up, and of course, David and Jeff wouldn't get out. They were scared. I'm sorry. Todd says, I'll go out, I'll get out. And I looked like I was 8 whenever I was 15. And so we get out, we go in, and I tried to find a bottle of it, but I do have a bottle of what that looked like to me, but it was Night Train Express. And so Todd gets the, no, I know it was good stuff, man. We never got to drink it though. So Todd gets it. We both walk up to the counter. The guy asks Todd for his ID. Todd hands him his ID. Todd's 16 years old. The guy sells us alcohol. About that time, 2 Dothan City finest, one of them being Bobby Everett, walked in the door of the convenience store. And when I saw them, some 4-letter words, you know, and so I run my little tail out the car because I knew I was in trouble. And Todd, I remember the police officer telling him, son, if I was you, I would put that package back on the counter. And so, Todd, you know, but he puts it back on the counter. Well, long story short, I'm in the car, David's laughing, Jeff is blessing me out. I'm crying like a little girl. I'm shut up, Latham. And they frisked us. And they handcuffed us together and put us in the back of the police car. I'll never forget it. I mean, it was burned in my head. And they took us to Southeast Alabama Diversion Center. And we were, yeah, they had the light on for us out there. And I remember going in the door, and of course Jeff's mad, David's laughing, trying to sell pancakes up with us to the police. I was kind of goofy, you know, and I'm crying. I'm not kidding. I was scared. I knew this was going, oh, I'm in trouble. So, to make it short, the end of the night, my mom and dad, my dad was superintendent then, I think, and they were in Birmingham at a baseball game, so they were home. Well, Jeff's mama and daddy was home, David's mama and daddy were home, and Todd's mama and daddy. Well, they got talking to us, and I'm crying, sir, son, you need to calm down. You need to calm down. And they asked Jeff, well, can you call you? Yeah, I call my parents. And we didn't have cell phones then. And asked David, he called his parents. Todd called his parents, and he looked at me, and my parents said, well, you gonna get to spend the night. Somehow or another, Lynn and Betty Solly was able to take custody of me for that night. I guess they wanted me out of there because, I mean, I didn't stop crying. I'm not. But anyway, so, yeah, that was a long night between Friday night and Sunday afternoon when my mom and dad came home. And, but anyway, thank God, I mean, all that happened. That's why I had to go take a picture. I do have a picture of this the beeline, and I have a picture of a port wine that looked like the bottle. I'll never forget the bottle. $1.87. Well, it ain't that cheap no more, Darryl. It was like $13 for this bottle of wine I bought from Bobo Wine, and I don't want it anyway. But anyway, so that, you know, that was part of us growing up, and like you say, you know, I mean, thank you. Thank you for the tongue lashings, whippings, for the raising Cain and getting on our butts, and because I wouldn't be here right now. And loving us most of all. Love you. Thank you.
82. That'd be me. Yep. I deny everything you just said. Except for the laughing part.
I got it on video.
The reason why I was laughing the whole time was because of him bawling and him sitting there stoically just fuming, just seeing this thing come out of his head. And the way I always dealt with nervousness was laughing. So you
When he had wine at his house. That's what I told him. Why don't you just go to your house and drink your mama's wine?
We'd already drank it. Well, needless to say, I was the responsible one of us all.
Yeah.
Yeah, always, you know. And,
you drove
no, I guess, well, first of all, I'm David Straub. I graduated in 1982, part of the drum line there. And we kind of said it a little bit. I mean, there's no other story here that I can probably embellish, but I can say thank you for the amazing opportunities that we had as a group to represent Ashford, Alabama in all the many competitions, cities, the nation's capital. You know, that all happened during my tenure there with the Ashford High School band. Those memories will always be with me till I die. But as far as stories go, I mean, I can't beat that. Even though it was not part of the band, it was after a band. But I will say, you know, everyone knows Malcolm had his favorite sectionals, right, in school. We all know what his favorite sectionals were. There's a few of them in here. The worst ones, though, were the drum corps. I mean, I don't know where his patience went. He had none for the drum corps. We were always sent out of the band room. Beginning from the old Ashford band room, the old white old building. We always were sent out to the bus to wait for him to call us back in when he wanted us to do something. But so I do remember those days, and you know, who doesn't remember the band room, the new band room? We all moved in there, especially after those band meets, after high school football. We all tried to get a girl and get behind the band room. So there's a few of us that made it back there. But anyway, some of those memories that we probably shouldn't have talked about. But anyway, I don't know, Malcolm, I mean, you were such a great influence in my life. I mean, the discipline that I learned in being in band, the commitment that I learned in being in band, and just the never give up attitude that you can do what you want to do when you want to do it. Just sticking with it. And I did carry that through my career, and I've had an excellent career in life. You know, like everyone else, none of us would not be where we are today had it not been the influence that we have from it, because we certainly did not get it from any other teacher in my school.
I'm missing somebody?
No, I'm an 80.
80.
Well, I can't say anything. My name is Don Nesbitt, Strickland. I live here in Pansey, Alabama. This is my church too. And I can't say anything because my mom is sitting right over there.
You're smart.
That's my sister.
I already knew I was a good child.
Right, JB 81. Jason Ball.
Oh.
Jason Ball. Class 81.
Another drummer.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything that everybody has said is really just, if it wasn't for you and the influence that you had on our lives, it was just amazing. And the places and things that we did and saw together, I still talk about to this day.
Me too.
Yeah, so really, thank you. Thank you for everything you did for us. Love you.
Oh Lord, where do I start? I was one of the originals,
That's exactly right.
along with Jason and Jimmy and Jimmy. I mean, we went from nothing. They might have been 25 band members when he got there. In an old band room, and I don't know if any of the instruments you could even play. And then he shows up. A year prior to that, I'd seen my cousin play a trumpet, played in Albany High. And I said, man, I want to do that. This guy showed up. We all go to the auditorium, elementary school, and do some kind of music test. And then take this to your parents and tell them to be in the band, and I did. And Mom and Dad went for it, and we started doing it. You know, we forget the parents. We had some awesome parents in the beginning and on through, because they worked their tails off to have what we had. I mean, we started out, a lot of you guys had it good. We started out wearing black slacks, a white shirt, and black shoes. That was it. Until we got uniform, until we sold whatever we could sell. Throughout life, I have done a lot of restoration of cars, trucks, and to do that, you gotta be a perfectionist. A lot of that came from here. I'll never forget going to the first band camp, and I wasn't that good. But I worked my tail at band camp and got first chair at band camp. And he seen something in me and kept working on me. It escalated from there. One of my first memories is, when we first started out, he was okay with you carrying your music on your instrument on the field. And I didn't think I was good enough to play yet without my music. Very first game, very first anything, I snapped that trumpet up and my music goes. I realized that night I could play without my music. Because I didn't want to disappoint him. And God forbid you run back there and pick that music. I've seen folks do that before. You leave it.
Yeah.
You don't play, but you leave the music. But great time. I mean, we went places that I would have never gotten to go and play and do stuff. And then I'm graduated, 1987, I'm getting married. I call this guy and ask him to play my wedding. He does it. And he's sick. He gets sick and he still plays my wedding. And I love you like a father.
I'm not gonna play the year game with y'all. We're gonna keep that a secret. But anyway, I was with this man 2.5 years, and his name is, I have 5 kids, and they know you by name. Because what you taught me, I raised my kids that way. You taught me a lot, because when I came to you, my parents had just gotten a divorce, and you were like a father figure, and you stood up for us. You didn't let nobody run over us, but you didn't take no trash from us either. We learned to not only respect you, but to respect ourselves. And as a young lady, at that time, it was very important in my life that I learned to respect myself. And So I was planning on coming last night, and I didn't make it, and I didn't think I was gonna make it tonight. And my daughter told me, she said, Mom, you have to go and honor this man, because we know him like an uncle that we've never met. Every time we do something wrong, you would say, Mr. Kemp wouldn't put up with that. So I'm not putting up with it. And the funny thing is, my son, he's in the oil fields. And he called me the other day and he said, Mom, you know, I'm just tired. I think I'm just gonna go home to Texas. I said, you gonna quit? He said, would Mr. Kemp let me quit? I said, no, he wouldn't. And I said, because I had told him I was coming, and he said, okay, if Mr. Kemp wouldn't let me quit, I can't quit yet. So my children know you like you were an uncle that they had never met, because every story, every discipline, everything was around what you taught me. And I love you, and I will always honor you for that.
Since we can't get the year, can we get a name?
Gail came. I was the one that he always had trouble with. When he came, I was on the flag corps. I didn't play an instrument.
Okay.
He passed out what they call our number sheet, step sheet. And if you were out of step on Thursday night, you didn't want your name called. And I would always wind up a little too far to the left. And he would always call my name and tell me, can you count?
I remember that.
I remember that. Yeah, that was something, and I think I might be the last of 81, and I'm just thinking and reminiscing about everything that's been said, and it's been so true, and we all will be able to say that in a very positive way, that Mr. Kemp has impacted all of our lives. And as I was sitting here, you know, and I think we had the baton to go through the roof and get stuck as well. But my memory was when he would come with that paddle and just slam it down on the desk. And everybody was just, and wow, man. And so how many of you remember talking about the diaphragm? And he'll come by and punch in the belly. You're holding the note, and he'd come by and just punch in the gut. And if you wasn't doing it right, you just splat. Yeah, and so I remember we was Bullitt County. Y'all know Bullitt County, and we was playing them one night, and he said, "See, that ain't no band. You want to get your tails and swing on a limb like chimpanzees, go right ahead, but you're not gonna do it in this." You remember we had gotten our own little groove there to have time with it, and boy, he come running up there. And he'll start out real loud. "Clint, what are you?" And you knew exactly what he was saying. You knew exactly what he was saying. And so, you know, we'd be at rehearsal, and boy, it was a stickler for detail. And how many of you remember, he says, one end to the other end, and I better not see nothing but a straight line. How many remember that? And then he'll come out with that paddle. I was getting back, man. And he was practicing, and he, okay, count, tweet, tweet, tweet. And I want you up, toes pointed, and out. Boy, you almost couldn't stand the way he wanted you to come up with your leg. And I was intentionally doing it with my right leg, coming up on the wrong foot. He said, "James, you gonna get in the game Friday night, and you gonna do that very thing." And I be doggone, Jason. I said, "No, I ain't." I be doggone. Friday night came, and toot, and guess what? Right leg went up. Because I've been playing all the time, you know. But man,
You're the one why we got stopped. That's it right there.
But man, it was good. It was good. It was good. It's just great memories. Those trips. A lot of places I don't think we would have ever experienced or even gone had it not been for this man.
That's so true.
And we get to say we were the genesis
Yes.
that made it all possible. Because we started the revolution when it comes to the Ashford High School days.
Yeah.
We started the revolution. And sound, we didn't have a big band, but nobody could match our sound. And it's all about technique. It was just all about technique. You know, I mean, we blew some of the biggest bands. We blew them off the field. And we were like a family. It was like, you know, it's just like Paul when he talks about the body and the parts of the body, how everything works its place. And that's what the band was. We was just, everybody knew their place. Everybody worked their place. And nobody's trying to outshine nobody else. We was one band, one sound. And it was great. And this man came to my house and ate some of my mama's biscuits, and he was like a drug addict on crack. That's all he talked about. That's all he talked about. And she always asked me, how Mr. Kemp doing when she was living? She would always ask about Mr. Kemp. I would tell her, he's ready to come back and get some more biscuits. Tell him to come on whenever you want to, you know. But he was good. He cared about each and every one of us. He just had a genuine concern about each and every one of us, and I appreciate that. And you don't find a lot of teachers that's willing to invest in their children like that. They say, I don't get paid for all of this. But I remember that. Y'all, how many of y'all remember that old Honda Civic? He put about 500,000 miles on it. And he would run, had all that music all the way to Atlanta and everywhere, getting sheet music and everything to bring back to us for halftime shows and all that. Man, that was great. Wore that car out, running up and down the road for us. Ashford High School. But he put us on the map.
That's right.
He put us on the map, and we are forever and be eternally grateful for that. And I just want to thank whoever had the idea besides myself to come up with this to bring us all back. A lot of people couldn't be here, but it was just good to see everybody. I mean, it's just been great. It's been great. And it's been good.
Well, don't wrap it up because we're not through.
No, I'm not.
What, 3, 4 more?
You know, I'm about to have a Jimmy moment, but we're gonna go on now, and we're gonna go to what we at? 81? 80.
80.
Well, you hadn't gone yet.
We got anybody in 80?
Oh, you did? Oh, that's what you did get. 80.
80.
Okay, I'm one of the originals like you were talking about. But actually, I was in the band prior when we got
You wouldn't really call that a band.
the band that walked out on the field, and half of them didn't have the right uniform.
Well, it was Mr. Meek's band back then.
We got booed a lot of times. And we had a really good football team, like the one they were talking about last night, that game. It was the 74 team. And 75-76, not too bad either. But when we get on the field, it'd be so embarrassing. We get booed.
Yeah, I was embarrassed.
It was really embarrassing. Well, my mother was actually a band teacher, like you're talking about parents were important. And the band districts would get together and they'd be talking about, you know, we need to do something about it because it is really embarrassing about our band. And our football team is so good, but our band is not that great. So they actually got together and they said, we need to go talk to that superintendent. We need a good band director. And my mother was nominated to go up there and talk to the superintendent for the band districts. And she did. And she went there talking about it. And they pushed to get another band director. And so, anyway, we ended up with getting Mr. Kemp coming to the school. And he just made the most tremendous difference to all of us, as we can see. And we have all the greatest stories to tell. And one of the things he would do at our, we'd have an end of the year party, and he'd give awards. And what you give like goofy awards, and I got the tongue tied award. And I still have the tongue tied award because I really am. Sometimes I get embarrassed when I'm talking in front of a group of people, and I actually became a school teacher, and I didn't have a problem when I was talking in front of the kids. Like you know, you're talking in front of the kids, but when I'm in front of the adults and faculty meetings or whatever, I'd always get tongue tied because I had to talk in front of people my same age, and the same thing happens today with me because I, just not really good with that. But you were a great inspiration for me, and also my brother Don over there.
Oh, yeah,
He was a
definitely.
very shy person. We were in the same grade.
Still
we
am.
went in the same grade. And he's a 1980 person too. We graduated together, and
Tell
you
him
just.
what we made him do in front of the band.
Oh, Don, you want to tell him what one time you had to do and
What are you
one of
talking
the-
about? Oh, you talking about
with the tuba?
You said, was it the tiptoe through the
T for
two?
two.
Was it T for two or was it Elvira?
You know, T for two.
Oh, yeah, I
He was out
remember
there
that.
doing his dancing
Yeah.
with the tuba
Yeah,
out there in the middle of the
dance
field.
with his tuba out there.
Don and the other guy that played the tuba, what was his name?
Steven.
Oh,
Stephen
Stephen
Russ.
Russ.
Stephen Russ.
Oh, we had some great times.
But we had a debate on who left the tube in front of the heater. You remember
Don
that?
had a tuba. He's got a tuba at home for a souvenir.
We don't know who
Yeah,
did.
messed up, but.
To this day.
Good years.
You
That's
remember
some
that?
good
Yeah, I
memories.
do.
Yeah. I'm glad
Which
that
one of y'all
y'all
did that?
thought about coming,
What's that?
getting you to get.
Which one of y'all
all
left
together.
out too?
I don't know. We blame it on the short guy. You remember who the other was? What was the other guy's
I don't
name?
remember.
Elf Founds?
I know you know.
Was it Ernest?
Ernest.
Ernest.
Ernest
We
Gray.
blame it on him.
Ernest Gray.
Cause he was a new guy.
Yeah.
T for two. That was
But
good.
I tell you, I don't know who left that thing in front of the heater.
Well,
I still got
he
that
coming in
tuba
there and
sitting
taking
out.
all our musical waves that our prior band, I'm not gonna speak who he was, but he was a very intelligent teacher, but he
Yes.
just didn't have the discipline in the classroom. And kids would be throwing things and going behind the band room, and he didn't know they were sneaking out, and all kinds of stuff was going on during band. It was not like it was supposed to.
Oh, you talking about the other bands? right?
Yeah, and then when he
Yeah.
came in, the first, I don't know how many games, we did not get to March, the first half of the season, that first year he was there. Because he said we were not good enough to go out there on that field. We could not go out.
We all during homecoming or somewhere.
Oh, yeah, we
That
did get
first
to
year.
finally do one, yeah, we were ready by then.
Played
So,
so
but we couldn't go out there until we were ready, so he
Yeah.
did get us ready.
That's
we
right, we didn't
did.
go
They
out
were
there.
surprised, they were like people in the, dropping their mouths because they couldn't believe how different we were compared to the year before. So you really made a difference in our lives, all of us.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, UD's, was a part of the band for many years.
So he was his voice and
But
Mr.
he
Nesbitt.
told me, he said, I'm gonna tell you something. He said, I believe when the football team was really good, they won in some playoff. Montgomery, I don't know where it was, but anyhow, he said that the Ashford band was supposed to play the national anthem in the field there. And you said, he's the living man, he said, about 90% of the band was talking. And they said there was 2 or 3 that could kind of play, and they had their horns up. They said while they were playing the national anthem, the band would just carry on the conversation. And 4 or 5 people blew the horns, and the drummers were beating the drums. And
All you could hear was our drum corps.
Yeah.
That's all you could hear was our drums.
And then he did tell me back then that you could turn the lights out at night. The girls had their fire batons.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I believe this was way up in Montgomery somewhere, playoffs. He said they had the fire batons and all that stuff. He said halftime came and the Ashford band went on the field and got the formation. And then the lights go. And then the band was supposed to move into a new formation while the lights were out. And I said, you said, you hear people move. You said the lights came back on. Nick said, turn the lights back on. He said, turn the lights back on. I was sitting there, This is UD's talking
Yeah.
about.
I think I was there. That sounds familiar.
Yeah. Turn the lights back off. I don't know what you do then. I don't know what you do. Yeah, I'll tell you one time, we'd be arrested today for what we did. You brought a casket that an old band, the old DeBerry's, a real live casket.
Yeah, I remember that.
I remember too. And
Dorothy, Audrey.
those ladies who had those color guard, of course we had this all playing and had the casket closed. And all these pretty ladies sitting up in the very front row up there, always talking. And it was right close to Halloween. And I said, these two kids are spending the night with each other out in the country. I said, all they had was lamps, they didn't have electricity. They had transistor radios. So they were listening to music and said, the announcer came on and said, listen, there's wild animal has fallen off this train. Don't go outside, no matter what you do. Don't go outside. Well, music came back on. Announcer came back on and said, this animal's killed cows and horses. Do not go outside. And they said about that time they heard the little dog yelp, He said those two kids rode next to each other, just covered, And I said, all of a sudden, these big old claws, you could just see them come up under the door. And the more I talked, the softer I got. And I said, all of a sudden, when a few lifted up with that casket, every one of them girls left that front row, and they were halfway out around that building before I could ever round them back up. They opened that.
And Audrey Davis was leading the charge. Honey, she's not coughing over. That's good stuff.
I want to say, we might not get together again, so we do it, we need to do this about every year because you're not as old as I am. But when you hit 81, when you open your eyes, you say, thank you, Lord, thank you for your love and protection, and my wife and my kids, daughter and son, and we're just, much more lucky than we realize. But, hey, listen, that first, y'all don't remember, I know you remember playing it, you first kids. I used to preach to you about pride. I'd say, we gotta have pride. Well, but you know what? It's like telling a football team that's never won a game, have pride. How do you do that? We never won a game before. And and I spent a good long time trying to put them up that just a closer walk with thee. And all you first people remember playing that. And it was very simple. Then at the end it went. Anyhow, we took that over to Phoenix City. That was when they used to play the small stag bowl. And then we had that Christmas parade that morning, early in the morning, and they judged you on it. Well, it's cold. Yeah, it was cold. Yeah, it was early too. But anyhow, we never won anything before, and so we got to do halftime, and I've got somewhere another 2 pictures. We did we spilled out Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and I've still got those pictures somewhere with you kids in there. But So halftime came, and they said, well, now the third place band is, they called somebody out. I said, well, we ain't third place, I knew that. And then they called the second place band out, holding the breath, it wasn't us. So then we said, well, it ain't us, or we won nothing. They can't call that Ashford High School band out, I'll bet you. I bet they threw their hats 250 feet high. But,
And I think you jumped out the bleacher box down on the field too.
I believe it was just one jump. But then when we got back, I said, now, you know what it is to have pride and discipline and believe in yourself. Now you can believe in yourself. And so from there on, it was, you know, just on and on and on and on. And
We got a little cocky after that.
yeah. But
It was filled up a band room with trophies.
He and I worked with his daughters and all, but very few people know why the Ashford band sounded the way they did. I told some people last night eating, I said, after the Peanut Festival parade one year, I was in the Arts Music Shop, like on Monday after the parade, and I had, of course, I had my Ashford jacket on, and this pretty little woman and her daughter were in there buying some reeds and all. Yeah, we talked about that, but then somebody said, well, we enjoyed your Ashford band, and that woman said, Ashford band, he said. And she said, are you your director? I said, yeah. She said, well, my husband and I were sitting there at the grandstand review, and we could hear the band coming in the future. Coming. And she said, honey, listen, there is the Sound of the South, Troy State Band.
Johnny Long.
I said, yeah. That was as good a compliment as I could have gotten.
Yep.
And, but there was a secret that most people don't know that made it in the band, and that band director, by the way, the long hair hippie guy, that's the band director now. You know, he's very talented. I started his daddy in band in Ozark. And so, but he's very talented, and I've kept up with the bands, but none of the bands have played with the sound that you people play with. And there's a little secret to that. If we were to go around the room right now and just say, sing any note you want to sing,
Chorus.
most of us would go, la, 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 la. But if you want to sing like the Gaithers sing, and like these a cappella groups, they're going to sing, la. You got to blow the horn. Same way. You make that vocal sound. And so if you want to play da da dee da 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 dee da, you can't go da da dee da 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 dee.
Well, you did it more nasally than that back in the day.
But and the word that goes along with this that most band directors don't even know what it means, and it's called resonance or sonority, vibration, but sonority is that, and it's a sound that goes da, and not da. And this is what about 90% of you bands play with right there. And I'm not saying that it's bad, but they never did have the sound that we sound. And I never, you know, I don't think I ever really criticized. I know one time, one of our top years of competition, my good friend, band director over Steve Ashford over at Columbia, and great choir director, a lot better choir director than band director. But and some of our kids in Ashford worked with some of their kids in Dothan, and they came in and said, "A band director says we're going to blow y'all off the field Friday night." Well, normally we would do our halftime show to Ashford. No. I made sure that his band's sitting on the 50-yard line, and we did our halftime competition show right into their face. And I mean, we played. But
Feel the pain off.
we went off the pain off the breastbone. But I'm telling you the truth now. There's no magic to. But if you listen to a real good, I don't know if you listen to the Gaithers or David Phelps or any of those. You listen to real, or even the good classical Mormon Tabernacle Choir. I mean, you know, and when they're going, you know, hallelujah, hallelujah, they got about what, 175 voices? That's going to raise the pain, you know. Hallelujah all day long won't do anything much for you. But that was the key right there, because those kids would put in their horn what they wanted their horn to sound like. And that was from the first time we went to Phoenix City to the last competition we did in Ashford before I left. And I told these boys that I ate with last night, some of my very best friends, when I came to Ashford from Americus, Georgia, I had a great band at Americus. I played for Jimmy Carter. I worked for him, but he would come in from those campaigns, and I'd be standing there playing. He'd come shake my hand, put his arms around me, and we had a great band. But when I decided to get my master's degree is when I came to Ashford, and the Lord works things out for you, because I left my church job in Americus, and then I came, and the guy that was at the First Baptist Church was leaving. And then I went to see Walter Brown and said, we're going to get a real full-time band director. And Mr. Meeks, you know, he had to teach math and do band too. You know, some kids told me that on Monday they would go in the band room and say, I want to play in the band. And on Friday night they were marching. They might not know which end of the horn to put up, but they were marching on Friday night.
With brown slacks.
So you got to have some kind of continuity. But yeah, that band instilled that concept that first year we went to Phoenix City. Or I don't believe we would have won it, because you know what? That ain't no hard song. Do 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 low brass, let it be. Then we would repeat again, you know. But it's how they played it in that Phoenix City parade that I think made the difference. For that first real sense of accomplishment, you know. But I'll say it again. I've said it 100 times. My first year and alternate years in Ashford was at the right time for the right students and basically the right parents, because they worked their butts off. And now it probably wouldn't work today. And because number one, they're too entitled, the kids are, you know, for not doing anything, just because of who I am. Well, my name's Malcolm Kemp, so therefore, that don't mean anything, you know. But I did come out of retirement, but year before last, Betty over in Dale County was having a baby. And so they called me to come and teach about 8-10 weeks. But I did come and sit down with the principal, and I said, I will not come for, what do you call it? Substitute pay. I ain't coming for that. And I said, and I'll tell you what I've got. I've got 43 years of teaching, and I got my master's, I got my administration degree, all that. And now, you tell me, how much can I drive from Headland over to Dale County for? And was it $273 a day? So I took it, because that was probably the most money I'd ever made. It might have been 300 something, but it was more than I had. My first teaching job in Trenton, Florida, was $4,500 and a $400 supplement for being a band director, and that was my yearly income. My first teacher job, $4,500 and a $400 supplement. And I thought I was making money then. I thought, you know.
I think it was 300.
I think it was maybe 370 something a day. But I was fairly impressed with it when they gave me that figure. But I had to come, and I had to do their homecoming parade, and you know, I was too old for that. I was 79 years old when I was doing that. You know, way down that street, and drummers beating and all that stuff and all. But I will tell you this, that night when we was going into the stadium, this very, 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 very dressed up man and wife said, "Come here just a minute." And we were walking in. He said, "You in charge of this band for now?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Well, we've been watching this band for 15 years, and today was the very best performance they've ever done in the homecoming parade." And he wanted to commend us on what we had done and all that stuff and all. But, and that was good times, except the kids think they're entitled for a lot of things that they are not entitled to yet. I'm 16, I want my keys. Well, there would need to be a little bit more to it than that, you know. And not only that, this is a car I want to, not just, you know, but the kids are really, they were just.
There's a habit that I do to this day. I practiced, when you started teaching us that, I practiced it every day, every minute, and to this day, I do it every day.
Yeah. You do it in church sometimes too. I know, somebody told me in church, you'd be going do.
When I've seen it in church, I always, and to that, like I say, to this day, I do that every day. At some point in time, I'm doing more for notes about it.
But
I ain't played my trumpet since I graduated. Right? All kind of
I
stuff in my head.
I could talk all night long, but and I know she's heard me say, I taught in Trenton, Florida, and taught in Americus, Georgia, right there with presidents, and all that stuff and all. And hey, we went to competition my third year there, and we did His Honor or Claxon won, and the judge after we played the first 8 measures, he said, I'm just gonna put my pencil down and just listen to y'all instead of making any comments. So they played pretty well, you know. Then when I came to Ashford, that's my first speeding ticket I ever got. It's when I left the band camp that day and I went to Arts Music Shop and bought the beginning band course. And I was coming back home and I got stopped. But we did have some serious kids in the band, and we had some that were not great musicians who wanted to be, and they did what they needed to do. And as always, you have some that don't care. They want to be in there because their buddies in there, you know? Those were some of the very best years of my life. And like I say, I taught 43 of them. And I was from Ashford from 76 to 89, so I taught a lot of other places, but the years in Ashford were the very best memories that I have. And I know some of you not remember everything, but I can pretty much remember most things.
All of you guys brought all the memories back that I had forgotten.
But and I told them last night, Mary Grover, she and I were paths in the mall in Dublin. We were talking, and she says, you know, when Tammy was a part of that senior group, she said, you know, those kids would march right into hell behind you if you asked them. Now, you know, I don't remember a lot of things, but I never forgot that. And I thought, I said, well, you know what? The good kids, I think, probably would, you know.
We got you through the gate anyway.
I don't know about that.
Go in there and see what it's all about and get back.
Personally, I thought we were there several times.
Mardi Gras.
Nobody's
I didn't
oh, you gonna have a great
I'd have went back and
time.
picked up that music, I'd have seen it.
No, he didn't tell us it
And, you know,
was
just
7 miles long.
My daughter was in the beginning band
I know, that's me.
in Ashford before she moved to Georgia. And then, of course, I had Michael was about when he was in diapers. And, but then he moved on over to Americas too. And then they played in the band, South Academy, and then Michael came back to live with me the last 2 years, I think. And one of my first trumpet players, and other ones. And but you know, with all that together, you know, all of you, you know, there's no way you can take those memories and for what you did, because I will probably say too, I was a pretty good band director when I came here, but I did my share of learning lessons along with you. And I probably learned more than anything else. I couldn't do it today. I couldn't do it today, but I
Couldn't you bring your pistol to school today?
with all sincerity, with all sincerity, the best years of my, I would say, teaching life, and some of my best years of my adult life. And I don't believe I'd have changed it. You know, we had maybe some ups and downs. But after that year in Phoenix City, you know what you have to start doing that year? So what am I going to do next year to make something better? And then when you start doing your competitions, you said, what can we do this next year? You know, and finally you decide something else, you know. And,
We all said we wanted to go to Disney.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that, going to Disney, going underground.
And it rained on us.
Yeah, it always
Rained
rains.
on us in Disney, it rained on us in Silver Spring.
Rains down here every day.
Disney.
You remember I told you it was the Peanut Festival?
That makes
Yeah.
a
I
congressman.
threw my trumpet up one time, and when I pulled it back down, I pulled all the skin off my top lip. I played the rest of the thing, bloody. I played. I was making a sound.
Our Tropicana Music Bowl, we had 32 people out there on the field. One of the biggest sounds. I showed that video to some band directors and some previous. They were like, "What?" You know, they just couldn't believe it. That sound from those. I said, "There's maybe six trumpets out there, and 2 mellophones,
Yeah.
and just a handful of trombones." And it's like, how? I said, "Oh, you got a minute?"
Diaphragm, baby,
Yeah.
diaphragm.
But you know, there's 300 whatever piece bands with 8 bands, you know, come out right away in. It's just unbelievable.
Did you introduce him to Todd Lee?
I don't remember what year we did well, I used to get drunk over there in, New Orleans.
Mardi Gras?
Yeah, you boys, yeah. But, I don't know if you remember, we got there about daylight that morning, and we went to McDonald's somewhere, and we were in school buses. Here came 5 trailway buses together from South Carolina somewhere. And in the parade that day, because I rode up and down, they had 3 directors, one in the front, one in the middle, one in the back. They had the megaphones. The band was so big and all, you know. And of course, we thought we didn't have any chance against them at all. Of course, we won that year too. That was good, you know. But yeah, not too many bands have that sound we talked about.
Conway band director says they're cheating. They've got Troy State people in the band out there playing with them. Remember that?
Well, I know after we came off the field that night, University of Florida band performed, you know, for the festivities, and I had 2 of the University of Florida band guys jump over the fence and said, "This is the very best band in this whole stadium this night." And this lady was out there with her walker, and her daughter was band director at Gainesville High School there. Great band. And they won the thing that night. And that one woman came up and said, I want to just tell you that I really, really felt that you had beat my daughter and their band tonight in the finals. That and what those 2 University of Florida band. And not only that, my band director, Richard Bowles from Florida, when we came off the field that morning, he said, I want to just tell you one thing, you got a blowing band.
I remember you telling us.
That's what he said, y'all got a blowing band, and we did. But I wish we had that recording with amplification, and it's not just that Tropicana Bowl. Listen, man, you know, I remember some of these other guys doing trumpet solos after the Tropicana Bowl was over with. You know, it had, I just think, just as great a band, but that Tropicana Bowl, though, 32 horn players, and dee 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 dee, the band goes doo da, and the people in the stands clap because they are playing those 2 notes, doo da, and they fill that stadium up. And people, you know, Maybe.
Every trumpet was just, I mean, every brass up front, everybody was mirrored, you know. It was like, doo-dah, you know, the horns and everything.
Maybe next 5 years, we'll come back, we'll bring it, and we'll play it, maybe give us some more of those videos.
Yeah. You know, we did a lot of symphonic, some really good symphonic.
Yeah, the concert band was.
Oh, yeah.
Last year, I played football, remember?
Yep.
I played concert band.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
And I was appreciative that you let me play football and still be in the band.
That's all right.
We went to the ball game last night. Everybody, how many hands? About 12, 15? Okay, Mr. Kemp, you were at the ball game last night too.
Yes, ma'am.
We always got our into the band free because you were with us. We all got $10 tickets. I think you owe some money. Isn't that how it always is? We go with him, he pays the bill.
Hey, listen, somebody.
Get to walk into all these places for free like this.
Somebody needs to
That was many moons ago.
Somebody needs to have all their phone numbers or emails or something or other.
Yes, and if you know somebody else, you need to let me know how to get in touch with them, because I feel we need to do this more often too.
If y'all wanna get around it, here it is.
Yeah.
Here's that trumpet down. Right there.
There you go.
There it is.
I found this down right down, all of them. Right here, it reminded me of. So y'all get in this and take it home. Hang it somewhere. For your house is
Oh, yeah.
Well, we'll start now. Not tonight. Monday. We're going to Florida. We gotta pack things up at the house. I'm on
That one do it again.
Well, let's see if all the food's gone. Well, they still left some food.
I mean, we can take.
Oh, Jay.
Listen.
Thank you, God.
Okay.
Yeah, this is my husband, David.
And I think you had my son out your window.
Yeah.
You had my son.
Brandon.
1 year play sack.
He is?
Yeah.
He was a
Well,
national.
I'll see you next time, and maybe we'll have another one.
God
Yeah, we're
bless
gonna
you.
do it again.
Okay?
Thank you. Yeah,
We got to do it again, okay?
This one's fast put together, but we're gonna do it again, Mr. Kemp.
Well, take care, and that's it.
When I say now, I'm 85 now, that's too long.
Oh, yeah, no, can't wait now.
We're gonna get together.
We'll see if we get together some way or another, okay?
Thank you.